This is the Election Bureau. Hello and welcome to the Citi Prime News. We're coming to you live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. My name is Ajuatin Krama Domina. Coming up, multiple protests hits various parts of the country today over high business costs, roads and galamsey.
The shipping line are cheating us. They are killing our work. Most of our importers are now using the Togo port. The people of JTRC and community are tired of bad roads.
Meanwhile, Labour analyst Austin Game warns of more agitations in the coming days, citing government's posturing in handling issues.
We'll have a little bit more upheaval if you don't respond, particularly to some of these things, plus the kind of situation we have, even though that is more political.
Also coming up, whereabouts of 46 arrested Democracy Hub protesters still unknown, as lawyers describe actions of police as highly unprofessional. Meanwhile, Deputy Attorney General Alfred Tuayeboa has challenged protesters to provide evidence of police brutality. Still in the bulletin, Ghana could be witnessing the worst security, environmental and economic effects of destructive galamsey activities soon, according to security analyst Professor Enin, who says Ghana has been thrown into a galam state.
More importantly, in a galam state, there is a perfect blend between criminally minded politicians and politically minded criminal gangs.
And later, 6 units get funds. Zabzugu Primary School project remains locked after nearly a week as contractor in charge of the project insists on reopening school after government clears all arrears owed him.
Well, the inconsistency raises eyebrow. The question we ask ourselves is, what did?
We'll hear from the district chief executive, who says all students have been moved to a temporary place of study. Stay with us for details of these and more stories coming your way in the next 30 minutes. Remember, the news is live around the globe on citinewsroom.com. Across the country, we are live on a number of affiliate stations. If you're listening to us from the Western region, this is Adrimpa 100.7 FM in Takwa Beach, 105.5 FM in Takrade. In the Bunu region, this is Greener, 95.9 FM in Sunyai. In the Ashanti region, find us on Adrimpa 99.9 FM in Inkarie. In the Volta region, tune into Heritage 107.3 FM in Hohoi, Freedom 88.1 FM in Sogakope. In the Northern region, Radio Gaki 88.3 FM in Saboba. If you're in the Upper East region, this is Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. And in the Northeast region, this is Nobia FM 98.1 FM. Please stay for details.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
We're grateful for your company this afternoon. There are several protests ongoing across the country. We begin first with the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, custom agents and other concerned stakeholders who are embarking on their protest in Tema. The groups are expressing their displeasure against what they describe as exploitative charges at the port. Now, according to them, this makes the cost of doing business at the port burdensome. The groups are currently marching to various shipping lines to present their petitions, after which they will serve the ministries of transport and trade with their petitions. Here are some of the protesters speaking to Citi News.
It's high time we let the shipline guys who are trying to cheat us in the system. In the last 2 weeks, my container came to the port. NPS scan is not working. So it's not my fault, it's the fault of the importer. But because the container delayed to come to the terminal, they charged me for demurrage. Almost like 10,000 for nothing of my issues. It is high time the government come in and sanitize the system. Secondly, the exchange rate. Now you are doing export, your freight is paid in dollars. Give us Ghana rate to pay. Say no. And some companies are refusing to take Ghana cedis for their freight, which is very bad.
The shipping line are cheating us. They are killing our work. Most of our importers are now using the Togo port because of the charges, the scarcity charges that are charging them now. So that is why we are doing this protest today. We'll do today, tomorrow, till Friday. They have to. Because they have to. Because now, for me, for instance, in my office, I have asked 10 people to go home. Because no job is not coming. The importers that bring the work that we do, now, they are not bringing their work anymore because of the charges that the shipping line is charging them. A weekend.
So you had some freight forwarders there protesting over the charges at the ports. Let's head there now and speak with my colleague Daniel Odro-Mensah, who joins us with some update. Odro, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. What is the latest update regarding the protest?
Good afternoon, Ajwa. We are currently at the back to the premises of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. Earlier, we embarked on quite a number of shipping lines in Tema. The very first point was at the Mediterranean Shipping Company, and then we ended at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority Company Limited. And currently, we are here to have the press conference to get briefings from the leadership of the group. I am joined by a member of the group, and he is in the person of Jake Nat Kujo, who will tell us exactly what really happened as to some points that we were, the group were denied entry. He will tell us more as to what really transpired. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Yeah, so tell us what really happened with regard to some of the shipping lines that prevented you from access.
Yeah, we went to MSC. They allow us access to their place. But when we got to intermodal shipping line, we noticed that they are inside their building, but they asked the security to tell us that they haven't come to work. You know what? Today is a working day for every shipping line to work in Ghana here. But they deny us access to their premises, not allowing us to give them our station.
Okay, so from here, what next?
Yes, now our leaders are going to sit down so that we strategize how we deal with them, and we will notify them today being the working day. If they ask our members to pay a demurrage on any container, we will not pay. We will not pay that today or yesterday's demurrage because they deny us access to their offices or their premises. So our leaders are going to take charge of what's happening over there.
Okay, so Ajay, if you can hear me, so they are basically drumming home the fact that the shipping lines are charging them unnecessarily. They've indicated that they are even charged holiday and weekend demurrage charges and all that.
Right.
So they are calling on the relevant authorities to heed to their demands, else they will keep on protesting.
Very well, thank you so much. That's Daniel Odro-Mensah. It's my colleague here bringing us up to speed with what's currently happening at the protests organized by the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders, custom agents and other concerned stakeholders. Let's stay on protests, but this time on roads, because scores of residents from Jetiase and Tadieso communities within the Setre Central District of the Ashanti region have taken to the streets to protest against poor road infrastructure, accusing successive governments of neglect. The residents expressed frustration over their inability to access healthcare in Asante Mampong and in Suta due to the poor road network. Now, speaking to Citi News, the protesters warn that they will boycott the December 7 elections and prevent elections from taking place in their communities if the roads remain unfixed. Prince Jumo is one of the lead protesters.
The people of JTRC and community are tired of bad roads. Our roads have been unmotorable, unconstructed, and untired since Ghana's independence in 1957. Okay? So we are tired. We have to put up with bad roads all this while. So what we are saying is that the distances from Mampong to JTRC, from Bonkro to JTRC, then from JTRC through Tadiesu to Nsuta, if put together, is not even up to 10 kilometers. We are all in this country, and we are well aware of number of roads being constructed by the government of Ghana. In fact, we praise the government for a lot of developmental projects being carried out by the government. But we, the people of JTRC and Tadieso, are not seeing anything here. We are not seeing it. We are part of Ghana. Yes. So we are demanding for our share of the national cake. That is what we are saying. So the government should come to our aid and construct our road for us.
So that's the lead protester at the JTRC demonstration happening now in the Ashanti region. Let's still stay on street protests. And Arocha Ghana Conservation Orientation Organization has taken the Stop Galamsey campaign to some principal streets in Accra. Hundreds of volunteers flooded the capital's main streets earlier today, holding placards and calling on President Akufo-Addo to take decisive action against illegal mining activities that continue to devastate the environment. Speaking to Citi News, Deputy National Director of Arocha Ghana, Darrell Bosu, indicated that this is one of a series of activities aimed at putting pressure on the government and stakeholders to act in order to save the country's water bodies and forest reserves.
Makers are officers who sit in the comfort of their vehicle, drive on these roads in the city and get to the office and do the same things that is taking us nowhere. We believe that it's about time every stroke of the pen should bring us a positive progress in the way our country is developing. So it's about time we make change, and everybody should come out with their placards and messages and tell the government to do the right thing and stop Galamsey now. Government must listen, and our demands are very clear. The government should declare a state of emergency and to stop all forms of mining in our rivers and in our forest reserve.
You heard Darrell Bosu, he's Deputy National Director of Arocha Ghana. Well, let's stay on Galamsey. And security analyst Professor Kwesi Enin says Ghana has been thrown into what can be described as a Galam state due to the failure of state actors to clamp down on illegal mining activities, popularly called Galamsey. Professor Enin likens a failed fight against the canker to crime convergence, where the mistrust of security agencies and almost non-existent laws have emboldened many to engage in the illegality with impunity. Now, speaking at a CSO post-engagement with political parties on mining at a brief, Professor Enin warned that Ghana could be witnessing the worst security, environmental and economic effects of destructive Galamsey activities soon.
Ghana has now been characterized as a Galam state. And what do we mean when we say Ghana has become a Galam state? A Galam state is where we are seeing a country in a gradual descent like a narco state. It is a state that is captured and linked to higher forms of grand corruption. In a Galam state, the practice is normalized and the people are silenced or limited to mere noises on the sidelines. In a Galam state, it's identified by a state in which its institutions have been captured. That is the legislature, the executive, the judiciary, the regulatory agencies, public works ministries, by large private firms, political leaders, high-ranking officials, interest groups such as transnational organized criminal networks. More importantly, in a Galam state, there is a perfect blend between criminally minded politicians and politically minded criminal gangs.
You had security analyst Professor Kwesi Enin. Now, President Akufo-Addo is urging world leaders to step up their efforts in combating climate change and its devastating impact, particularly on vulnerable nations. Speaking at the United Nations General Assembly in New York for the final time as President of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo noted that while Africa contributes minimally to global emissions, the continent bears the brunt of climate-related disasters like floods and droughts. President Akufo-Addo says what African countries demand in the climate fight is fairness and not charity.
At the heart of today's crisis is a climate emergency which threatens humanity's very existence. Africa, whilst contributing the least to global emissions, bears the heaviest burden. From floods to desertification, we're already experiencing its devastating effects. Despite the promises, the vulnerable remain abandoned. We're told to adapt and be resilient. But how does one adapt to famine or build resilience when farmers cannot predict the seasons? Africa cannot continue to pay for a crisis she did not create. We demand fairness, not charity. Climate justice requires an economic system that works for everyone, not just the privileged few. Mr. President, the vast gulf between rich and poor should be a stain on our collective conscience. Over 700 million people that is 8.57% of the world's population, still live in extreme poverty, deprived of basic human rights.
You heard President Akufo-Addo. Away from that, Labour consultant Austin Game has predicted more Labour actions in the coming days, attributing same to the expected change in government and the government's poor handling of Labour-related issues. Now, a number of Labour organisations, including the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, CTAG, has served notice of embarking on strike to press some demands for better conditions of service. Speaking to City News, Austin Game called on the government to swiftly address the concerns of Labour groups to avert the impact of widespread Labour agitations in the country.
I'm thinking that we'll have a little bit more upheaval, if you don't respond, particularly to some of these things, plus the kind of situation we have, even though that is more of political, the Galamsey thing and the election, brouhaha, and all that, it to be a very devastating thing on our hands. I hope they'll be able to address this one within the next 3 days, 4 days. Otherwise, it will be very, very dangerous on our part. Because of the level of mess up in the economic front and the huge indebtedness of government, the fear is that if they have anything left, particularly because people have the feeling that there will be a change of government. They want the present government to bear the responsibility by paying them whatever is due them before they pack out.
You heard Austin Gama, he's a Labour consultant. You're still listening to the Citi Prime News. When we return, whereabouts of 46 arrested Democracy Hub protesters still unknown, as lawyers describe actions of police as highly unprofessional. But Deputy Attorney General Alfred Tuanibo has also challenged protesters to provide evidence of police brutality. We have details of these and other stories coming up shortly. Please stay.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Get ready for the ultimate battle of business minds at the Citi Business Olympics 2024. Join us for a day of intense competition, team building, and networking as companies go head to head in the various challenges to prove their skills and expertise. From traditional sports like seven-a-side football, basketball, sack race, and volleyball to unique challenges like tug of war and arm wrestling, there's no shortage of excitement and adrenaline pumping action. Don't miss out on this exciting event that will test your business acumen and athletic skills on the field. Date Saturday 28th September 2024. Venue Eden Heights Sports Complex, Wager. Time 8 a.m. Call 0558 973 973 for details on how you can participate and showcase your company's talents at the Citi Business Olympics 2024. Get ready to compete, collaborate, and conquer. The Citi Business Olympics 2024 is powered by Channel 1 TV with support from 97.3 Citi FM and proudly sponsored by Beaver Beverages, Blue Jeans Energy Drink, Bethel Logistics, experts in shipping logistics, and Luzati Lozenges from Unicom Chemist Limited.
Channel 1 TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on Channel 363. On GoTV, we're on Channel 117. And on HD+, get us on Channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search. But take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Channel 1 TV. Channel 1 TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box, like the DSTV and HD+ boxes. Channel 1 TV, telling your story, empowering change.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Yeah, welcome back. Let's bring you some other stories. Lawyers for the arrested Democracy Hub protesters have described the conduct of the police as unlawful, vowing to take them on legally. Now, about 46 protesters who participated in the 3-day protest against illegal mining in Ghana were picked up by the police, citing incidents of lawlessness. Lawyer for the protesters, Prince Ganaku, in an interview with Citi News, lamented the police's refusal to share information on the whereabouts of arrested protesters, as they are expected to be arraigned before court.
So yesterday the police told us that they would be taken to the regional command. Unfortunately, this morning the intelligence we got was that they will be gathered at the national headquarters and moved to a court. We still don't know what court it is, but we have at least 5 lawyers on standby around that area, waiting for the van to move so that they can also follow the van, since the police are not giving us any information. The way they've handled this entire process from beginning to end has been poor and unprofessional. I don't think that is in doubt. For some reason, their PR or the government PR has managed to make it into an NDC thing, or make it into a question of, oh, the police are justified in acting the way they were acting because the protesters did this and that. And I think that's where police have certain powers, but those powers are limited or sort of restricted from overreach. And what the police are doing is flatly unlawful. From the ex-party injunction that they went to get, we are definitely going to take them on. We want the protesters to get their bail first, and when they get their bail, we will take them on, and we'll take them all the way to the Supreme Court.
As the lawyer for the arrested Democracy Hub protesters, Prince Ganaku. Well, the Deputy Attorney General, Alfred Tuanyeboa, says protesters who claim to have been brutalized by the police should come out with evidence. A 3-day protest by the Democracy Hub on illegal mining led to the arrest of over 40 persons. Now, the group has accused the police of brutalizing and manhandling protesters. But in an interview with Citi News, Alfred Tuanyeboa urged persons making these claims to go through appropriate channels to seek redress.
The police, in an attempt to ensure that demonstrators go by the set rules, also do not have the license to abuse the rights of the demonstrators. And so if the rights of the demonstrators are abused, we have the mechanisms that we can use in addressing such issues. And so our brothers and sisters in the uniform, they've also been trained. They know how to handle crowd, people who take part in demonstrations. But if there's any abuse, our office, being the Ministry of Justice, is also ready to look at those issues.
But what can you do? Because you know the police will build a docket against those they've arrested. Those who have been abused, how can the Office of the Attorney General help, other than they go in the civil way?
It's a matter of evidence. You can't just say your rights have been abused where you don't have that evidence. But there are other state institutions around. One of them being Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice. Even if you do not want to approach any other, you can go to that constitutional body. If you don't want to go to court, you can also approach that constitutional body. And so all those who claim that their rights have been abused as a result of their decision to take part in demonstrations should also come out. You come out with the evidence, and if actually your rights were abused, the mechanisms that we have under our constitution will make sure that those matters are addressed.
Meanwhile, Alfred Tuanyeboa says the office is considering an amendment to the Minerals and Mining Act to make it possible for equipment of illegal miners to be seized before conviction is secured.
When it comes to the law, the Minerals and Mining Act, now if you seize any mining equipment that was being used illegally, that's galamsey, equipment being used for galamsey, you can confiscate the equipment only when the court has convicted the person who owns or who was using that equipment. So our confiscation is what we call the conviction-based confiscation. We have instances where you go to the forest or riverside, and then those people who own those machines have bolted. You go and take these excavators. Now there's no one to prosecute. So how do you get a conviction and then confiscate those machines to the state? And so there's an attempt to also look at the Minerals and Mining Act, where that conviction bit will be taken off, and that when you are arrested, if you are not arrested, you bolt away, and then we get the equipment, the law will permit that equipment to be confiscated to the state, notwithstanding the fact that no one has been prosecuted.
That was the Deputy Attorney General, Alfred Chia Yeboah. Let's bring you some more stories this afternoon. Students and teachers of Tuvugu DA Primary School in Zabzugu in the northern region have been unable to access their school building due to an 8-year-old debt. Now, the contractor responsible for constructing the school locked the facility on Wednesday, citing the failure of the Ghana Education Trust Fund, GET Fund, to settle the outstanding payment. Speaking to City News, the District Chief Executive of Zabzugu, Ahmed Yusuf Adakwa, assured the public that as a temporary solution, the students had been relocated to a nearby school block to continue their education.
We have Block A and Block B. It was the Block B that was locked up. So I took the District Director of Education and his front officers to the place. I undertook a roll call from P1 to P6. There I realized that the number of people in the Block B currently could be moved to Block A. So fortunately, I'd had some furniture that was procured. So I quickly organized the furniture and fixed them in the rooms and asked that the Block B people should be moved into there. If the contractor sees me, we discuss together, and he thinks, what has happened, he will still pursue it since it's been aired. For that matter, he will ask the people to come back. Then I'll welcome it because I don't have the financial muscles as a district. We never awarded the contract, but this one is GET Fund.
Ahmed Yusuf Adakwa is a district chief executive of Zabzugu. Meanwhile, the contractor, Ali Ubawa, remains adamant that the building will remain locked until he has received full payment of funds.
Up to now, I didn't hear anything, and then they are continuing using it. And then this time around, I said that no, because they left 3 months to make an election, I couldn't receive my money. I decided to go and tag the students and lock them. I needed my money, because without my money, I can't open the school for them, because they are continuing using it. So always they are continuing using it. So this time I say no, unless I get my money before I open it for them.
You heard the contractor in charge of the Zabzugu Primary School, Aliwu Bawa. Now, this is the Election Bureau. Let's bring you some politics-related stories. And flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, is calling on supporters in the strongholds of the governing New Patriotic Party to reconsider their loyalty and back the NDC in the upcoming elections. John Mahama says the NDC offers a development-oriented agenda that can bring lasting progress to all parts of the country. He was speaking during a campaign tour of the region.
Obia percent ni krom mpuntuo ba ni krom NDC so ye ne mpuntuo hene ye ban so ne echicha ye ka se we anto amame we to mame we anto amame aka sa ne yi mu a aka College of Education for College of Health for you be see wo ha 2015.
Everyone wants development, and the NDC is the only party that delivers it. We do not discriminate based on who votes for us. If that was not the case, we wouldn't have put up the colleges of education we built here in 2015. Your grandparents who were affiliated with the other party are dead and gone. You are the ones suffering now.
John Mahama is flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress. Well, in the NPP, the party's flag bearer, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, says the performance of the NPP government is defined by its ability to implement the free senior high school policy, restore teacher and nursing training allowances, and prevent scarcity of fuel products, and a host of others.
You have the free technical and vocational education, so that's also. Insanu Jumano, Yankorano Timiko Suya for free, no more in your certificate, Aba Yeju. You have the teacher training allowance, no Aba Bill. You have the nursing training allowance, no Aba Bill. And then Yansala and Goto Petro.
Not only have we implemented a free senior high school policy, we have also implemented free technical and vocational education to give skills to our young people.
That's the NPP flag bearer, Dr. Mahamudu Baumia, speaking there. Before we go, Zenith Bank Ghana Limited says it will go ahead to engage in more corporate social responsibilities as it marks 19 years of operations in Ghana. The bank, considered to be one of the leading financial institutions in Ghana, says they have identified and sponsored many young, brilliant but needy students for further education. Now, Managing Director of the bank, Henry Chinedu Onwuzoribo, who spoke to journalists after Health Walk, says the bank is also involved in the construction and renovation of some health facilities across the country.
Yeah, quite a lot. Zenith is noted for our corporate social responsibility. So we've adopted some schools, some indigent kids in schools that we are taking care of. Actually, as part of our corporate social responsibility, we always identify some very needy students and we train them up to university level. It might interest you to know that some of them have graduated. Some of them are medical doctors, have some engineers, that Zenith has been responsible for that. And we have some still in the universities. There are very, very people that we don't have been in schools. We don't make so much noise about these things at times. So people wonder, they are just here making money. What are they giving back to the society? And of recent, we started sometime last 2 months. We've seen some of the higher institutions. We had to donate some laptops as a part of our corporate social responsibility.
That's the Managing Director of Zenith Bank, Henry Chinedu Onwuzoribo, ending today's edition of the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studio in Adabraka, Accra. Log on to citynewsroom.com for more stories. My name is Ajuatin Kromadumna. Thank you for your company. Good afternoon.
City News, we speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302-224959 and get interactive on Facebook, Citi 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at Citi 973.